In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use something called the main function. This is something that you're going to need to define from here on out. So first to start, I'm going to show you a program that doesn't have a main function. So we're going to ask about how many apples and pears you have and calculate the total fruit and print it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and run that. Just how many apples do you have? I'll say I have 3 apples. How many pears? I have 4. Total fruit is 7. Okay, now, this is not the way you need to code most programs. Most Python programs need to have a main function, which is where the starting logic needs to go. This is pretty much a standard in Python programs. And from here on out, starting with assignment 2, you're going to be expected to use a main function in virtually every Python program that you need to write, even an exercise. It is the standard. There'll be a couple of exceptions along the way, and I'll point them out along the way. But if you don't see that, consider defining a main function a requirement for the rest of this class. All right, so here's how you do it. Here's just a regular define, and it is the keyword main, all lowercase. Then you have to put 2 parentheses in it. They're empty, open paren, close paren. And that's just a requirement. That's something you have to do with functions. You have to have parentheses. And then the colon, the block. So now indented, you have the code that would run in the main function. Now, just by itself, a function doesn't run. You have to call the function. That's what it's called. So we have to have as the last line in our program, we have to have the call. So it says main paren, which says go do the code that's defined in the main function. So let's go ahead and run that. Oops, let me move that over here in view. How many apples I have 2, 5 pears, and we still have a total fruit of 7. So we'll close that. Now, that's all well and good. If you have more than one function, as many programs will, let's see if I got the right one here. Okay, let's say we have our main function, but we define another program here called end program. It's something where we want to do the very last thing we do before leaving the program. So I just called it end program, colon, and all right now is doing is it's printing end of program. So we go down to the main function again. It's the same thing we had before, a couple inputs, printing the total fruit over here. It calculates it and then prints it. And then as the last line of the main function, I say end program. I can call a function from anywhere in the main program, but in this case I want to do it at the end. So I put the code at the end. So this says go do the code in the end program function. So, and again, none of these run. Anything defined in a function definition, code never runs until it's called like that. Or here, the end program function is called like that. So let's run it again, or let's run it for the first time here. Pull it back into view. How many apples do I have? I have 4 apples. I have 5 pears. Now the total fruit is 9. Okay, that's good. So this is how it works. So remember, always start with the main. Any functions that you need to have in your program to go beyond the main function, you define separately, and you call them within the main or call them from within another function if it gets complicated. The way I've done it here, too, where I define the main function as the last function in the program, that's kind of a standard. I'd like you to follow that. Don't define your main at the top. Define it down here at the bottom and then have as the last line of the program the call to the main.